Hi everyone, it's Miss Bulky here, and today we are going to be learning about the wonderful world of convection. Convection is the transfer of energy between moving fluids. So fluids can be in the form of a liquid or in a gas. Okay, so that's one thing that we need to know for our what convection is. There also needs to be some other things happening with convection. So first of all, with convection, you need to make sure that you have a thermal gradient. So a thermal gradient is having a difference between temperatures of the liquid. So today I am using this bowl of water, and this bowl of water is reached its thermal equilibrium. So thermal equilibrium means that this water is equal. It's the same temperature throughout. So in order for convection to happen, we need to have a difference of temperatures of water. So what we're going to be using, we're going to have a thermal gradient, meaning that it's not going to be equal. So I'm going to be using hot water today and cold water to show you convection. Okay, so let's get to it. So here I have a vial of hot water, and I'm representing the hot water as red. So you're going to be able to see what happens when I put hot water in this water here. Then I'm going to use ice cubes, which are represented as blue, to show the cold. And once they start to melt, then you're going to have cold water, and we're going to be able to see what happens we're going to be able to see convection in action. So I'm putting in the hot water. Okay, and you can see already it's starting to flow up towards the top of the water. Then I am going to put in my ice cubes, and you will be able to see what happens with the blue water. So as the ice starts to melt, the blue water starts to sink. The reason the hot water is floating up is because the particles are moving faster. So with hot water, particles are farther apart and they are able to move fast. So they're speeding up, which makes them less dense, so they are starting to travel upward. As the blue ice, the cold water, starts to melt, you can see that the blue starts to sink along the bottom. So as it melts, it sinks because it is more dense. These particles in the cold water are moving slower, so they are closer together compared to the hot water, which makes a difference of densities. Now here, what's going to happen is there's going to be a current. You can see that it starts to go in a circular motion. So it's going to continue to do that. Since there are two different temperatures, a convection current will occur. When the red or the hot water, it rises, it heats the top of the water, and the cool will sink and then get warmed again as it goes. So that's how the current happens. It's replacing. The hot water goes up, replaces the cold water. Cold water will sink, and then it will start to turn warm. Once this hits thermal equilibrium, so once it becomes equal, then convection will stop. So that is what's happening with convection. And as you see here, in fluids, which is a liquid and a gas, convection will happen because, as we know, it's a transfer of energy between moving fluids. And in a liquid and gas, you have a difference, an increase or a decrease of velocity, which is speed of the particles. So when they get hot, they increase velocity, okay? And when they cool, they decrease their speed. But that also affects the flow. And as we know, convection is flowing of the particles. So the particles in a liquid and gas are able to move around and amongst each other. In a solid, they do not increase speed, as in they're not moving apart from each other. What they do is they increase the speed of vibration. So they either, solid, when it's heated, it will increase its vibration a bit more, and when it's cooled, it will slow its vibration, but they don't move apart. So these particles in a solid are not flowing. So that's why with a solid, convection doesn't happen. It only happens with fluids, which is a liquid and a gas. For solid, conduction is the way that heat is transferred. And we're going to have a little demo in a lesson on conduction later. So, as a recap, remembering convection is the transfer of energy for fluids, of moving fluids. And I'll give you some readings, and we can on the lesson about ocean currents, which are really fantastic and really interesting to learn, and as well as some other real life examples. All right, so hopefully you like this demo and we're able to learn a bit about convection. All right, enjoy your day. Science is fabulous.